I miss you. I'm talking to your shade squad. I miss you. Oh, hey y'all. I miss y'all. How you doing? And welcome. It's your girl Treese, and I'm here to do none other than Beyond the Gates. This is episodes, the season 1, episode 43 and 44. So this would be Friday's episode, and yesterday's because it's actually now Tuesday while I'm recording this, but Monday's episode. So yeah, y'all, I appreciate your patience with me. Thank you. As some of y'all know, like I told y'all, just to give you a brief rundown, the girl has been doing a lot. I've been on the road up and down these highways. I had to go get my baby, pick him up from grandma in Greensboro Thursday night, and literally rush back up Saturday evening, so I could get back for the lives on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm a little tired and I'm a little behind. So, thank you for your patience and bearing with me. But I appreciate y'all. So, if you haven't already, please make sure that you've hit that like button. Make sure that you guys are subscribed as well if you are not already and you're liking the vibe. And you see my son decided to magically come back on. And I know you might say, well, it's always in the back. And it's did you plug it up? I always plug it up, y'all. It's been plugged up. And we joke in my house, but there's something going on because it cuts on and off by itself. So today it decided, literally, we woke up and it decided to be on. So thank you. Um, but yeah, y'all. So let's get into these episodes. Lots to get into. And then I heard that we're gonna have some breaks during this week, which I am not happy about. Um, but yeah, y'all, let's get into this episode and let's get shady. So hey y'all, I have another funny story for y'all. I know y'all like, damn, can you just get into the recap? I'm sorry. I told y'all I miss y'all. So let me tell you, so the reason why Fridays didn't come up, I actually did watch, if y'all know, if you're following me on the Blue Sky, I was live skying when Friday's episode was going on. And it was funny because I was watching it with my mom. And most of you guys who know, who started with me from the beginning from this, I started this whole thing because my grandmother, who rest in heaven, um, is no longer with us. She's the one that got me into the soaps in general. So I was hanging out with my mom and we were watching Bold and the Beautiful before Beyond the Gates came on. And we were laughing because we both have not watched it in years. Like for her, it might have been maybe 3 or 4 years. For me, it's definitely been over like almost 10. And when I tell you it was funny to be able to go back and be like, oh, so Brooke and Ridge ain't together no more, but they still want each other. Oh, so Taylor and Ridge are back together. Oh, so why is Grace from Young and the Restless now on Bold and the Beautiful? And why is Victoria, who is Nikki and Victor's daughter, now Katie on the Bold and the Beautiful? So it was cute to catch up. And I just thought I'd share this funny moment because I actually got on TikTok and we're like talking about it. I'll put it up. But it was funny because we're like talking about like, how did this happen? When did this crossover? Who's actually on the show and who's just in this crossover episode? Anyway, I know y'all, some of y'all might not care. I'm just telling you. Anyway, so let's jump into episode 43 of Beyond the Gates. We go see, this is a pivotal episode, in my opinion, because we finally see Doug go to Nicole and he lets her know, look, I have an addiction. Um, Doug says that he's been gambling since he was a kid. He likes the feeling of winning. And Nicole tells him he's addicted to the rush and the validation that he feels when he wins. Doug realizes that's why he enjoys being a surgeon, and he breaks down how he has risked everything gambling. Vanessa is down at the country club trying to contact Diego for a hookup. So I said, you didn't learn nothing from the escort service. You got Joey wanting to give you some free penis. And yet you round here running after Diego. Well, I mean, I don't think Joey putting it down like Diego, but still. Okay. Because Diego looked like he was working her out. Okay. So, but Diego has ignored her calls 3 times at this point. So Nicole asked, well, back over at Nicole's office, she's like, well, how long have you kept this from Vanessa? And Doug admits that he lied about being in surgery while he was off gambling. Nicole wants to know, well, why did you come to me out of all people, especially when that's my real good homegirl? He tells her about being sleep deprived and the surgery that he almost screwed up. Nicole mentions, I said, well, damn, Nicole, talk about holding people accountable. She's like, yeah, I also heard that you almost lost a patient, or you lost a patient the other day. I said, aren't you trying to make him feel better? Because I don't think that was it. And Nicole says, look, as a professional and as a friend, you putting your patients at risk. And she said, this is not going to be solved in one conversation. And Doug says he doesn't know what to do, but asked Nicole, can you help me? And she said, I don't know. Well, I can help refer you to somebody else. That's basically what's going to happen. Okay. Now, Jessica, AKA Samantha's twin or little sister, rolls up on Tyrell and Audrey Jeans talking about chess. Sidebar. Has anyone else heard that the actress that plays Samantha is like 30 something years old? When somebody told me that, I was like, wow. She definitely doesn't look that hair, makeup, whatever. I think they did an amazing, or maybe again, black don't crack. Maybe she just really still looks that youthful. I would love to see her when she's not in her Samantha character to see how like grown she really looks. But I thought that was really interesting. But y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought. But anyway, so Tyrell wants to know, like, oh, so you just gonna keep popping up on me? And she asks why you don't talk to me in school. And he mentions because you're always around, your little group of friends. And Jessica lets him know, I'd rather be around you. So I want you around. That's what she said. So Tyrell's like, oh, well, I like that. And she's like, and you winning because you didn't fall, you didn't fall victim to the cyberbullying stuff, and they mad because they can't get under your skin. And so, of course, his sister Samantha walks in and see him and Jessica talking. So of course she's like, oh, okay, Tyrell, get it. She's happy little sister. But I was just like, I don't know if you maybe think that this will get the pressure off you, so your dad will let you go do what you want to do, or if this means you think you can date. Because I don't. It's funny because we saw, and I would love drop down in the comments. Remember, before the fashion show, they were supposed to come and tell Samantha, "Oh, we're open to you dating now." Does anybody else remember that? And now all of a sudden, that Samantha has come up with this modeling thing, that has went out the window. They ain't said nothing to her. Did I miss something? Y'all let me know. Now, Naomi is finishing up her session with Diego at the country club when she runs into Martin. They catch up. We learned that apparently Jacob did end up making it to karaoke night because remember, he was supposed to be at work. Naomi asks how things are going with the kids. Martin admits he's seen better days, but refuses to talk about it. Naomi lets him know, I'm going to leave the door open. And Bill rolls up and says, yeah, you're right. That's what, family is important. And so Martin lets him know the family ended when you divorced my aunt and you started screwing Haley. He said, I can't figure out which one came first. And I said, damn, Martin. This is the one time I can appreciate Martin be a butthole. When it's not to his husband, when it's not to his kids, I can appreciate Martin in this form, rare form. I like it. Bill brings up how I was always your favorite uncle, Martin. And, that shouldn't stop us from having a relationship just because I'm not with your aunt anymore. Martin says that you were my favorite uncle because you were my only uncle, son. Like, don't ever get that twisted. And Bill goes down a list of these things that he's done for Martin. And I ain't going to hold you. I don't know how y'all feel. I hate when people do this. I feel like when you do something for somebody, you do it. And you do it because you want to. You don't. I feel when people do that, they're doing it for you so that when you don't want to do it or you don't react or behave the way that they want you to, then they can run down a list of things they do for you. And I just don't think that's genuine, in my opinion. All right, let's move on. Martin calls him tone deaf and walks off. Naomi tells Bill, "You can't expect the Duprees to be welcoming to you." She reminds him, "You're lucky I'm even speaking to you." And Bill was like, "Yeah, only because you tried to sue me." So then he tells her he hopes her clients aren't taking his kindness for weakness. He says, "Everyone in Fairmont Crest knows that I refuse to be taken advantage of." Naomi assures him nobody's trying to get over him, and she goes into his health. Bill was like, "I'm fine." And Naomi said, "You know what? The sad part is I don't even know when you're lying anymore because you lied to my face so many times." She gets a text from Jacob asking her to go down to the station. And before she leaves, Bill tells her to tell Chelsea that, "Can you please tell your sister that I miss her?" And Naomi tells him, "Well, why don't you call her? She got a whole purse line that's coming out." And Bill asks her, "Well, can you just mention it to tell Chelsea that I asked about her?" And she said, "No." She said, "Just because my foot is not on your neck as much as it was, doesn't mean all is resolved." And she said, "I don't want no parts of it. You figure that out. That's your child, not mine. I'm good with my sister." Um, so she's like, "Call your daughter." And I ain't gonna hold you. That's exactly what I would have said to my mother or my father. "Call your child. That ain't my child. As long as we good, call your child." Martin comes back into the lobby, and Bill walks up to him, and Martin tells him, "I thought I made myself clear, and we don't have anything to talk about." Bill asked him if this is the route he wants to take, especially, with you trying to climb in your political career. You might need me for something. And Martin's like, "No, I don't need anything from you. And why would I need you?" And Bill lets him know that he has the power to reach certain people, and also says, "And it's actually beneficial for you to stay on good terms with me, because we all know that Bill has everybody's secrets." Okay? Because even though we didn't see it play out in episode 43 and 44, but I think most of us, I'm not even going to take credit for this, but I think we already know that Bill was the person that paid Five Guys off to leave for Ted the first time. I think we all agreed on that in the comments. So shout out to y'all, BTG Shade Squad. I'm not even going to take full credit for that. I think we all came to that assumption. And unfortunately, we didn't see that play out in these two, but All right, warning. Warning. DNA. So Derek comes to Ashley's house, says, "I got something to tell you." She assumes he might want to get married, and he says, "God, no." I said, "Well." He tells her, "Look, I do one day, but really I'm just trying to move in." I'm keeping this short and sweet for y'all. There was a lot of things others that were said that I know y'all don't give a damn about, okay? Ashley's confused why he wants to do this now, and he admits that his lease is up, and he thinks that, I think we know each other better than married couples when you just learned from that damn test that you weren't. But finally Ashley agrees. And I believe that's all I got from them. So you're welcome. I made that real short and sweet for y'all. Now, down at the police station, Jacob is at work when his colleague comes in with some unhoused woman screaming about mistreatment. So one of the officers brought her in, and I think my notes, because obviously I'm going off my notes. My notes say I feel like she's gonna snitch on Malone, because where is he? Does anybody else think that's weird? Not that I really cared about the storyline too much, but because it was Jacob's dad was wrapped up in it, I was a little bit more interested to see it play out, because now we know Jacob's dad is with the shits too. However, where is Malone? Have you seen him? Tell me, have you seen him? Oh, I see his face everywhere I go. Sorry, that's with y'all, but where's Malone, y'all? Naomi brings Jacob coffee, and she meets this unhoused woman, which we learn her name is June. She questions, and she's like, "Well, why is Naomi here?" So Jacob asks her if she can be of help to her since she's facing a second degree assault charge. June is mad because I guess a social worker rolled up on her and was trying to throw her stuff away. And of course, she's unhoused, so all her stuff is in a cart. And that is, that's like somebody coming into your home and taking all your stuff. So she wasn't happy, and I guess she hit the lady. Once she finds out Naomi is a lawyer, she tells her, "Look, I ain't got no money to pay you, and I don't trust your kind." So Jacob explains to Naomi, "I believe, even though she's a little rough around the edges, okay, I believe she could beat these charges." And he's like, "And didn't you want to, get into really, really like helping the community and giving back and basically guilt tripping Naomi?" And he does say that he believes the social worker failed to identify themselves. So Naomi is like, "Well, I would just want to make sure that you really wasn't trying to harm her." And June says, "No, I actually should have hit her harder." And I said, "Well, this ain't gonna go well." So Jacob tells her, "Look, she's facing 5 months in jail. Please help her, Naomi." So of course we know Naomi is going to help. Okay. Now Tyrell comes home and Samantha is teasing him about catching him with Jessica at All Free Jeans. However, Samantha, I did not like this scene at all. I didn't understand it. Samantha was putting 20 on 10, assuming that somehow this means Jessica is about to be her future sister-in-law. Tyrell gets a text from Jessica thanking him for making her smile. Samantha returns offering up suggestions for date ideas, and Tyrell's like, "You're doing too much." And she tells him he needs to shoot his shot and match her energy. And she's trying to help him level up. And I was like, calm down. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but shout out to my girl. Is it Elaine? Elaine, I think you're the one that said you don't really, and if I'm getting it wrong, forgive me. I think it's Elaine that says she can't do it with the Smarty kids, Smitty and Martin's kids. I like that name. Shout out to you. But yeah, that I could have did without that, being honest. So then we jump back over to Nicole and Ted, and she's texting him some links about addiction recovery and potential support groups that he can attend. Doug is refusing to go public about this. He wants things to stay completely between him and Nicole. And she's like, "Well, how badly do you want to manage this addiction?" So Doug says that he does want to get better, but I'm not doing no support group where people might see me, know me, recognize me. Nicole warns him he's not protecting his reputation by hiding. She asks him what's worse, people finding out he's fighting his demons or Vanessa finding out he let the demons win. And I said, that was a word, Nicole. That was a word. Okay. He reveals that only Joey and Randy know about his habit. Nicole asks, "Well, what if anyone else finds out?" And Doug is concerned that, he could possibly lose everything. He admits that things haven't been going well with Vanessa and they have grown apart. And I was like, so finally we're admitting that? Finally. Because Vanessa's been there. I'm like Rihanna, where have you been? Not in his marriage. Bah. However, he cares about her opinion and he doesn't want to appear weak to her. So Nicole tells him right now, Joey and Randy know more about his life than the woman that he shares it with. Can we give Nicole some snaps? We need to pass the collection plate around for Nicole. Okay. And she warns him that his fear could cost him his marriage. And she tells him to be honest and let Vanessa decide. And I thought this was the best advice. Because if it's one thing y'all don't know about me, as many relationship shows as we do not pertaining to this, I always say, give me the choice. If you lie to me, you don't give me the choice because I don't know. But if you tell me the truth and I accept whatever you tell me and decide to move forward, that's on me. I did it to me. In the words of Drew Sidora, I did that to me. But at least give me the choice. So I felt Nicole. Now, Bill finally calls Chelsea and he leaves her a message letting her know that he's thinking of her. He has a flashback to a conversation with Chelsea, and we can clearly tell that this is before the divorce. He and she's like, "Dad, can you help? I feel like mom has been a little manic lately and I just really want you to spend some more time with her and take her on a trip or do something so she'll be happy. So when I tell her that I want to quit, she won't take it too bad." And Bill is like, that's not going to change that. However, he says Danny Dupree is resilient, and she'll be fine. She'll figure it out. I love when Chelsea clocks it and said, "Why would you call her Danny Dupree?" Because at that point, she was still Danny Hamilton. She makes him promise, "Can you please, help ease things along the way?" After he comes out of his flashback, we see Tomas join up with Bill, who's forcing a drink on him. Tomas is trying to decline, and Bill warns him, you don't ever do that, especially when a person's buying a drink, determines your future. Then he wants to jump into the upcoming board meeting with the former colleagues, the women that were suing him. Tomas lets him know they want more women at the firm. They want to do mandatory trainings and be involved in partner selections with Bill. He feels like it sounds like a hostile takeover. So he picks up his drink, and we notice that he can't stop shaking. And let me give a big shout out to Jelena, that dropped in the comments. I believe you're new, but welcome to the BTG Shade Squad. And I love when I didn't notice this episode 42, but Jelena, and I'm hope I'm pronouncing it right. Jelena, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. She pointed out that she noticed Bill's hand was shaking when he took Haley up to the bedroom when they decided they was going to, go up here and put some work in. I didn't catch that at all. So shout out to you. Kudos to you for dropping in the comments and making it a thing and bringing it to my attention, because wow, Bill really, there's something really wrong with Bill. And now I'm just really ready to get to the bottom of it, because even after that, you see Bill, you can tell his hand is in pain. So what do y'all think Bill is going through? Come on, you know what we do in the comments. Come on, let me know. What you think really going on with Bill? Because clearly something wrong. And look, and maybe his health is why Haley ain't getting pregnant. But I'm gonna mind my business. That's married people business, okay? Now, Vanessa finally spots Diego at the country club. She runs him down. I was laughing my ass off. Finally, we see Vanessa running behind like a damn dog. Like, it was hilarious. And she got the nerve to have an attitude and ask him why he's not returning her calls. And he's like, because I've been busy. I'm working. I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so Vanessa was like, well, you canceled appointments, and I know you're icing me out. And she wants to know why. And so Diego said, look, what do you want? I'm not interested in seeing you outside of our scheduled training time. So then Doug conveniently walks in and lets her know that he wants to talk. Finally, Vanessa's like, okay, well, I hope that it's only good news, because I've had enough today. My penis, my scheduled penis, regular penis appointment has been canceled. And, I need some good news. Doug said, well, it ain't going to be that. And then he admits, look, I've been lying to you. And I know that we've grown apart and you're no longer into me. And so then Vanessa gets emotional and tells him that she's sorry. And he says he is too. And again, here we are, another missed opportunity. Why wasn't there a breakup? Can you tell me? Because this is the second time now. And I understand. Married folks, you're going to go through stuff. I'm in long-term relationship. I get it. Ups and downs, ebbs and flows. I get it. This woman is calling escorts after she just had an amazing night with her husband. Break the hell up. I'm just saying. Just my thoughts. Y'all can disagree with me in the comments. Now, Martin finally comes home, and Samantha can't wait to tell her dad about Jessica and what's going on. And Tyrell said, look, I want both of y'all to leave it alone. So Martin gets on the phone, and he's filling Smitty in when Tyrell comes down and actually wants to talk to his dad about Jessica. And he lets her know, look, Dad, she's different. Like, she was super supportive and, told me not to worry about the bullies. And Martin is just so proud. that his son didn't let his peers, get to him, and says that anybody that defends my son the way that you telling me this girl is, that's a good person, in my opinion. I think he even said she's the one. And I said, well, now you sound like damn Samantha. Come on, they're all of 15, 16. But I get it. Some people are high school sweethearts, but you know. All right, y'all. So here's where we take a break. If you are not caught up yet, this is where you will want to end the video and come back for episode 44 because we're about to jump into it. And I think this is going to be short and sweet and to the point because I'm on page 5 and I only have 6 pages of notes. So that tells you what episode 44 will be like. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let me set up the scene. We walk into Offrey Jeans. Ashley's mom, because we still don't know her name, Mona, and 5 guys are all there together. Ashley's mom lets them know Ashley had just texted her and let her know that Derek was moving in. Woohoo. 5 guys starts going around the table giving everybody flowers, saying, this is something she saw on social media about, just sharing what she appreciates about her friends. And she talks about, thank you for welcoming and accepting me, being new, and, all that good jazz, right? Mona then runs off because she has to take care of last minute things for the, last minute arrangements for the anniversary party, while Ashley's mom goes to run off and check on her. Now we cut back to the Richardson household being Ted and Nicole. Ted is trying to have a pre-anniversary celebration with strawberries and cream and champagne. Sounds like my type of party. And but they're interrupted by Eva, who wants to discuss changes on the menu. Eva tells them, it's her job to make sure this party goes smoothly, but she does hate disappointing Ted, but she needs to, pull Nicole away. And she talks about just how sweet it is to see Ted be so romantic. And she's like, I could just never have anything like this. And of course, Nicole has to come and say, no, baby, you are worthy and deserving of that same type of love in your life. And give it to me, Nicole. You better speak life. So Eva tells Nicole and Ted that she's not the one that men choose. She's the one that they lead. And Ted tells her that one day she'll be having and planning her own anniversary party to celebrate, her own happiness and love. Eva says she almost believes that can happen. And I thought, because we do believe that Eva is Ted's daughter, I thought this was a cute moment. And it just goes to show absolutely like the type of relationship that she wants with this man. So once Nicole and Eva are finished up, Ted is looking forward to finally getting this goal to all to himself. But then Mona walks in and actually makes herself comfortable. She lets him know, hey, I gave the rest of the household staff off so y'all can have some privacy. And then, she makes herself comfortable while she sits down and wants to talk about lawn hedges and things like that. I would have kicked Mona out my house. That strawberry and cream was getting, I would have kicked Mona out of my house. The carbonation in the bubbles was losing. Mm-hmm. So Anita is off at Uptown with Vernon. They're having a cute little lunch. And, she's like, look, I know we like to, have little dates or whatever, but I know you got ulterior motives. He wants to talk about her returning to the stage and wants to know, why are you so hesitant? And Anita admits that she believes she's aged and so has her voice. He asks if she's asked Danny and Naomi if they're, willing to perform with her. And Anita says, I haven't, because I haven't even agreed to do it my damn self. Can you get out my behind? She didn't say all that. I'm just telling you how I think she felt. Okay. Expression. So Anita asked her, well, what will it take to get you to say yes? And so as he's still trying to convince her how, I'd love to hear your voice. And I know I would love for you to get back to forming. Anita said, you know what? I didn't start off by myself. I was not a solo act. I started off as a group. And those girls were like sisters to me. And she said, I feel like I couldn't get back on that stage without them. And I would love to reunite and get the band back together. And then I probably would say yes. And so Vernon's like, what other idea? And so Anita then goes to say, I'm going to be so honest with you. When Anita said this, I believed everything. Anita goes on to say that when her and the other ladies, I did not get their names, so forgive me, but what her and her group mates broke up, she was not the nicest person to them. And I know it probably has a lot to do with her being in the music industry during the time period and them, the movement and all that stuff. However, I think that we can all agree, and I don't know if that's like because I feel like my grandmother had that, like a very tough exterior. Like she'll love you and you knew she loved you, but there was, and I feel like Anita gives that off. Like not to play with her. That's prime example why Hannah was addressing Vernon and not addressing Anita. Why Danny goes to her daddy and doesn't go to her mama. Like it's just something about her aura. So I absolutely believed it when she said she treated them girls kind of nasty and she doesn't know if she can come back from it. I see that. And I don't, or maybe we'll find out more. Maybe it wasn't necessarily warranted, but I absolutely see that. I do. And if y'all disagree with me, that's what we're here for. Dialogue. Okay. DNA. Warning. Warning. Okay. DNA quickly realized they're going to have issue. This is literally like 2 sentences, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. They realize they're gonna have issues, okay? With the space and living together. Ashley's apartment is too small, and that man really is too big. You get sense that Ashley is starting to feel like he's encroaching on her space. Just being honest, I don't know if again, I don't know if it's acting. I don't know if the actors don't have chemistry to make this relationship seem believable, but it definitely gave me Ashley is doing a good job at making them appear like they're uncompatible. But I felt this way even before all of this stuff has transpired. Like when we first started watching them, it was painful to watch because they don't seem compatible. Y'all can y'all drop your thoughts in the comments. So Ashley mama walk in and interrupts an intimate moment with a moose head. Ashley makes it clear that's not going in her apartment. Derek has to remind her it's their apartment. And then Ashley starts freaking out about her organizational standards. And I get it. But for once, I had to give Ashley her things. I'm very much everything has a place and a space and where it goes. I had to give her that. I'm not you just put things anywhere just so you can hide it. I'm not that person. So I knew what she was saying. Now we jump over to Martin. Martin is having one of his nightmares when Chelsea stops by for a visit. She lets him know that she's there to talk about threesomes. She's just very straight, up front, direct, and forward. And Martin was like, "Well, I think you're a little confused because I'm gay. And I think you're confusing gay with open relationships. And that's not what me and Smitty do. We're monogamous." And Chelsea's like, "No, and so she starts disclosing her sex capades to Martin. And Martin wants to know, well, it sounds like you're having fun, girl. What's the problem? And so she said, well, the problem is I'm starting to like Allison. And we know Allison is the wife, Craig is the husband. She likes Allison a lot more than she likes Craig. And Martin tells her, well, and so basically she just wants Martin to tell her that everything she's doing is okay. And he tells her, do you, boo boo? Do you? Now, we see Martin go down to the Off Regine's to meet up with Vernon. He's there to talk when they're interrupted. Because remember, when we left, five guys had stayed behind when Mona and Ashley's mama left. Martin, so she comes up pretending to be a fan of the Dupree family. She's coming off real crazy groupie and snaps a selfie before walking away. And Vernon and Martin just kind of exchange glances like, who is this crazy man, right? Chelsea goes to meet up with Allison down in Uptown and said, I just wanted to let you know the girl, I want to do this again, but without Craig. And did anyone else notice? My notes say, I don't know if this was a standard change for Chelsea as far as the wig and the hair, but my notes say, why does she look more like Allison now? understand you might like the kitty, but now you want to look like her too. That's what it was given. It was given Samantha and Jessica. I was like, what are we doing? Come on, people. Get it together. So Allison said, look, girl, I'm married. I was married. All right. And me and Craig, we do everything together. We got matching fits. We go to, we go out together. But however, we are very open. We have the freedom to do whatever we want as long as we're open about it. So Chelsea lets her know that she's feeling her and she can't stop thinking about the other night. And so Allison says that, she feels a spark as well, but only and says, but you got to be okay with, my husband knowing about what we doing. Chelsea don't give a damn as long as she can do what she do. But I think what's going to happen, y'all, Chelsea going to get caught up in her feelings. And I think that man's going to get jealous. I think Craig is going to get jealous, but we'll see. Just boop, throwing my fishing line out there. We'll see if anything bites. Now, Five Guys gets home and she is pulling out her wigs and modeling in the mirror. And Eva walks in and Five Guys wants her opinion on which one she should wear with her dress. And Eva's like, well, it really looked like you trying real hard to impress the Duprees. So Five Guys is like, no, but let me tell you what happened today. I ran into Vernon and Martin and I acted like a complete groupie. Okay. And Eva questions, well, why are you around here messing with Duprees when this is supposed to be about Ted? And Five Guys admits, oh yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with the plan. This is just some extra fun stuff that I'm doing. Some stuff on the side. So Eva's like, you're really playing with fire. And she reminds her that Vernon and Martin have never done anything to us. So Five Guys says, no, they haven't. It's all Nicole's fault. And I said, girl, oh my God. She believes the suffering they experience, the Duprees need to pay literally, and thinks that they absolutely will pay up to protect Ted's reputation and Nicole's from scandal. She plans to milk them for everything she can and reveal their big secret. Eva agrees that blackmailing the Duprees makes sense, but she said, but you know what? You sloppy. You can't stay away from them that long. And you're gonna ruin your own plans. So Eva said, and she's like, this is about more than money. So we see Five Guys have a flashback to her looking at Alan's obituary when Eva walks in, and I guess, they had a hard life or they were living paycheck to paycheck. This is when she has hatched this plan and decided that they needed to get back at the Duprees. So Five Guys tells her that basically this is about truth and justice. She says she lived a mediocre life with a mediocre man and was forced to live that life that Ted made her accept. And she admits that Ted is the one that deserved the revenge and they will settle the score. I said, well, watch out for crazy ass. So Vernon is still let off for jeans. He's talking to Martin. He notices something is off with him. Martin admits that he's still having these dreams, even though he had stopped having them. And Vernon asks, well, do you know what triggered it? And so Martin is like, oh, it could have been with the fact that I ran into Bill. And Vernon's like, well, I hate that Bill knows, but if it's one thing that man can do is keep a secret. So and that's when, again, back to my point, he absolutely knows about Ted. So Martin asks if Bill knowing what he knows is why he didn't want him running. And Vernon flips it on him and said, well, do you think that you running is the reason why you started having these nightmares again? And I said, clock it. So Martin says, now that he's over Tyrell's drama, he thinks that basically his demons are coming back, and at this point he would do anything to get rid of him. And so he's like, well, you should probably go talk to somebody. And he's like, well, the only person that I really feel like would be fit for this is my mom. And he's like, no, you can't do that. Vernon's like, no. What you not gonna do, not my sweet baby Nicole, is involve her in this as well. No. Get somebody else to do it. And so they really don't know, but they know they can't, let too many people know the secret. And so Martin is just like, I just hate keeping a secret from Smitty, but I know that whatever he did, and shout out to, I am not sure who said it, so forgive me, but make yourself known in the comments. But somebody said something about they believe it might have been you, Elaine. Somebody said something about they believe Martin hit somebody with a car or something like that. Like it was a hit and run situation. And I'm starting to feel like that because from all the like small little flashbacks that we get, it just seems like it involves a car. So maybe that's right. I don't know. Now, Naomi and Jacob go meet up with Ashley and Derek for a double date. Ashley notices Naomi looks very happy, and obviously we know she's taking on this case with June, I believe her name is. Derek shares that he's moved into Ashley's. Chelsea tells Allison she wants to get to know her beyond the sheets. So as they're catching up, Naomi comes over, introduces them, or I'm sorry, invites Chelsea and Allison over to join them, and then they start going around the table giving marriage advice. But clearly, they think this is just Chelsea's friend, and clearly notice she's married because she does have a big rock on her finger. I did notice that. It was kind of hard not to notice. Um, Finally, Ted gets to have his toast with Nicole and tells her she's his reason for living. And, they have their strawberries and their champagne. And he tells her this is, the beginning of their beautiful anniversary celebration. And we know it is really the beginning to the end. Okay. But yeah, y'all. So let me know what you thought in the comments of these 2 episodes of Beyond the Gates. And yeah, y'all, I guess I will catch you whenever it comes back on. According to the Google, it says that we are not going to get another episode till Thursday, May 1st. Okay. So y'all sit on this, resonate on these 2 episodes. I appreciate your patience with me again. And please do me a favor, y'all. We have been getting really, really good views and likes on the Beyond the Gates. So can I challenge you guys? Because we are literally teeting. Almost every video is like 40 plus, but we just cannot seem to get to 50 likes. So if you could please do me a favor, if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button for me. And hopefully, as the likes be liking, it'll climb to 50. But yeah, hit the like button for me. Make sure you guys comment, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also make sure you're following us on all the platforms. Like I said, I'll be live skying on the blue sky. Okay. We be TikToking, IG, and Facebook. And yeah, I love y'all. I will catch y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. And I guess I will follow up with y'all on Thursday or in the comments. But anyway, y'all be good. Bye bye.